Hey everyone, welcome back to Miss Liz IBG. So a year ago, I made a video asking parents and teachers in Hong Kong to start shifting how we see education, to stop chasing grades and start preparing our children for the AI future with confidence, curiosity, and creativity. That video was my small voice of hope. However, a year later, I look around and honestly, nothing has been changed. In fact, in my opinion, things have gotten worse. According to South China Morning Post and the University of Hong Kong in 2024, 28 students in Hong Kong died by suicide, following 32 deaths in 2023. The overall youth suicide rate has risen by more than 30% compared with 2019. Even after COVID, our children are still trapped, crushed by pressure and fear under the system. These aren't numbers. These are our children. I've been teaching for more than 18 years, from inside the classroom to learning centers in Hong Kong, and right now teaching one-to-one online in the UK. But what I'm seeing lately kind of breaks my heart, Like when I'm talking to my students during Zoom lesson, I normally will ask them like, hey, how have you been? So what's news? Like that. And you know what they talk? They don't talk about learning at school. They talk about surviving. Give you an example. So a student told me, you know what? I bring my iPad to the library so that I can play some video games at lunch. Yeah, I don't know why, they can connect to the Wi-Fi at school. Okay. And then he said, it's the only break I can get in a day. Another one said, we take turns being the watchdog at the door to make sure teachers don't catch us playing games when we are just trying to relax. And there's a boy who would say, you know what? I just finished homework during recess as quick as possible because I still have tutorial lesson after school. By the time I finish and get home, it's already 8-ish at night. Well, in my opinion, that's not learning. That's surviving inside a system. That's forgotten what learning truly means. And to be honest, I know parents are tired as well. You have to work long hours. You worry about your outgoing, your bills, the economy, your job, tuition fee. You just want to give your kids a chance so that they can take care of themselves when they grow up. Yeah? But deep down, you're feeling as the same as your kids, feeling trapped. Right? Well, it doesn't make you a bad parent at all because you care about your kids so much. And that's why you're watching this video. So you might be thinking, hey, Miss Liz, you're an English tutor. Aren't you a part of the system? Yes, but not that kind of teachers that push. Yeah, I would say I'm kind of like peculiar type of teacher because I don't force kids to chase marks. I teach them through what they love, whether or not it's Roblox, drawing, Japanese animation, even food. Oh, so many students love talking about food. Because I believe that interest builds confidence and confidence builds the future. Yes, I teach English, but I also teach my students that it is okay to fall, to make mistakes, and most importantly, to feel safe to try and to believe they can grow in themselves. A confident kid goes further than one who is constantly afraid to fail. That's what I see the system is most likely making the students feel that way. So instead of asking, have you finished your homework? Did you study for your tests? You can always ask them, what made you happy today? They could simply say no, but at least you're listening, right? Or you can ask, what would you like to do together this weekend? Because those questions kind of like tell them, I see you, not just as a student to keep chasing after good marks and grades, but as my child. Well, as some of you know, I'm also UK FCA regulated and registered mortgage and protection advisor. And recently I have a parent asking me this question. Miss Liz, can we use our Hong Kong income to buy a property in the UK? Because we're planning to send our kids to study abroad in the UK. Well, my answer is yes, it's possible. But it really depends on each family's background and financial picture. I can only give advice after I understand your situation clearly. But what I want to tell you, in a very, very honest opinion, is that the UK system isn't perfect either. Give you an example. In Hong Kong, teachers are authority. Am I right? Students must obey. That builds discipline, but also fear of making mistakes, fear of not being able to ask questions, and fear of not being good enough. In the UK, students are encouraged to be independent. Even little preschoolers are told to do things by themselves. Well, you will see like little kids having the yellowish running nose on their noses, and the teachers won't help them out to wipe. They need to discover it by themselves and wipe them by themselves, like that. Well, that helps students build problem-solving skills. But if a child lacks emotional support, simply because they have to solve problems by themselves most of the time, in my opinion, they can easily start to doubt themselves in certain ways. Well, I want to share with you about my daughter. My own daughter is going through, well, not the very present situations in the UK system right now. Now, I'm not complaining, I'm just sharing, okay? So basically, she's studying in a UK state secondary school that's been rated requires improvement. Well, if you have watched the Netflix movie Adolescence, her school is not that bad, but somehow, you know, it's pretty much the same in certain ways, like the students' behavior, okay? Although, like, her teachers are kind and caring, the classroom environment can be noisy and disruptive at times. Therefore, there isn't enough focused teaching time because teachers spend so much energy and effort managing classroom behavior, like that. So my daughter often has to self-study at home, using extra materials, online supports to catch up for the curriculum to prepare for the GCSE exam. She's been working really, really hard, but she also told me that she hopes to transfer to a better school. Well, for students who are ambitious and just care about learning, I can tell you that it's painful to be stuck in an environment that doesn't help them grow. Unfortunately, most of the good schools in my area are heavily oversubscribed. So basically, it's like the number of students are awful, and then there are still many, applications on the waiting list, something like that. So right now, the only thing we can do is wait and hope my daughter will get a chance soon, because her younger brother is already studying in a good secondary school, which means she's currently second highest in priority on the waiting list, finally. But you know what, as her mom, I'm doing everything I can to support her, except putting her in a private school, because honestly, I simply can't afford it. But watching her go through an ideal school experience, it truly breaks my heart. And sometimes I can't help wondering, with the UK government carrying such huge national debt and so much of the tax money just going towards paying the interest of the debt instead of improving services, will there really be enough left to enhance education funding? And I know many parents watching feel exactly the same, whether you're in Hong Kong or in the UK. We all just want our children to learn, to feel supported, and not to be crushed by the system. Well, to be honest, in my opinion, there's no perfect system anywhere. What matters is how we, as parents and educators, respond. We listen, we support, we step in when it's too much. We speak up kindly but firmly when something isn't right. Even the system doesn't change immediately. Our children are watching how we handle challenges, yeah? That's how we show them strength, not through shouting or pressure, but through calm, compassion, and action. If you feel weak, tired, please remember you're not alone. Just reach out. Okay, as a parent, you can join a Facebook group, join with other parents, talk to someone at school, connect the others during parent evenings. Okay? Change begins when we stop suffering in silence. And to all students watching, remember this: you're more than enough. You're capable of growing, learning, falling, and rising again. The world will keep testing you, but please never close your heart, because that open heart, that kindness, that hope is what will keep you strong, even when the system feels unfair. Remember, don't give up, because you're loved, you matter, and there is always hope. There is always a way out. Yeah, thank you for being here, everyone, for listening and for caring. If this message speaks to you, you can like, share, subscribe. Well, I try to upload at least once in a month. Okay, so I will see you guys very soon.